It is a great honor to be a part of such scientific event. Thank you very much one more. My team consists of 6 people. I want to make a short presentation because I like these people. This one the most important thing, and I think that we did a real good job in framework of our section. At the beginning, Nora is a host because she comes from University of Miskolc, Konrad Burdziak from University of Szczecin, Mateusz Tchórzewski from Cardinal Wyszyński University in Warsaw, and 2 of my colleagues unfortunately are absent because of health problems, one of them, and political issue, the second one. Everyone, by virtue of being human, is entitled to identical human rights, regardless of any differentiating factors. It would be appear that older people, because of their age and associated limitations, require special protection and privileges vis-à-vis the rest of the younger, fitter, healthier, and more active section of society. However, there is no distinct set of rights for the elderly, different from the other age groups. The main question is, should older people have any special rights? I want to emphasize the axiological background of protecting of older people. Given that older people constitute an increasingly large group of society, the protection of their rights is an essential element of a democratic state of law. The increasing number of elderly people in the general structure of society may entail an increased risk of abuse, often bearing the hallmarks of discrimination, leading to stigmatization and consequently marginalization. Discrimination in healthcare through lack of systematic geriatric care, refusal of in-depth diagnostic or preventive tests, surgery, participation in drug programs, inappropriate comments against older people, negligence in nursing care, constitute numerous manifestations of such treatment. In the area of law, older people are denied access to free representation by public defenders, and their age and health-related limitations are not taken into account in the penitentiary system. A number of allegations are also made against clerks and office culture, ranging from architectural barriers, lack of benches in waiting areas, illegible markings, small prints and forms, complicated procedures, computerized service that older people may not be able to cope with, and clerks are unable or unwilling to guide them through. Impatience of clerks serving older people and being sent from office to office. Another area of age discrimination is in services, particularly financial and insurance services. The situation is not helped by a contemporary culture based on the cult of youth, health, beauty, and modernity, from which old age associated with illness, suffering, limitations, and dying is eliminated or pushed to the side of the mainstream. The basis and starting point for the protection of the rights of older people is Article 25 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, according to which everyone has the right to a standard of living adequate for health and well-being, as well as the right to security in the event of unemployment, illness, incapacity, widowhood, or old age. At the European level, Article 14 of the Convention for the Protection of Human Rights and Fundamental Freedoms, which prohibits discrimination in the enjoyment of freedoms and rights of any ground, applies to older people. Mention should be made of the global initiative of the UN General Assembly, which established the 1st of October as International Day of Older People, and as such it has been celebrated since 1991. Another initiative was the declaration of 1999 as the International Year of Older People under the slogan, "A society open to all generations." And since 2006, the 15th of June has been designated as World Day for the Rights of Older People. Such initiatives to establish holidays like this have a promotional dimension, but also work to promote the idea of equal treatment of older people. At the national level, the source of protection for the rights of the elderly is the Polish Constitution, which is the supreme law in our country, in Poland. It guarantees equal rights for all citizens, including the elderly, protecting them from age discrimination. The source of freedoms and rights is the inherent and inalienable dignity of man and citizen, which is inviolable, and its respect and protection is the duty of public authorities. Unfortunately, however, the elderly have not been given much space. Only two provisions concerning social security and health care directly refer to them. The provisions of the Polish Constitution are developed by ordinary statutes. Unfortunately, this view the rights of the elderly through the prism of social welfare rather than human rights, which means that the elderly as a group in the realization of their rights are a supplicant rather than a subject or partner vis-à-vis the state. This approach perpetuates negative stereotypes associating old age with poverty, frailty, limitations, and support needs. This fits in with the wider phenomenon of ageism or age discrimination. The first and fundamental right is the right to dignity and respect. Older people should be treated with respect for their personal dignity, with due respect regardless of their state of health or cognitive capacity. A fundamental right of older people is the right to social security. Pensions play a fundamental role in the social security system and are the main source of income for older people. In addition to this, they count on various forms of social assistance, which include, among others, cash benefits and car services. Such support increases the elderly's capacity to function independently and gives them a sense of security. Equally important is the right to health care. The legislator ensures that its citizens have access to a wide range of medical services. It pays particular attention to the availability of these services for older people who, due to their age or health condition, may need more intensive care. Older people require a specific approach. Therefore, older people have priority access to certain health services, including rehabilitation and long-term care. People over 75 entitled to free medicines and preventive programs. In general, however, the health protection system does not grant older people any special privileges. One cannot fail to mention the family's alimony obligation towards the elderly, which comes down to providing for their livelihood and care if the elderly are unable to support themselves or take care of themselves. In this sense, the duty of alimony strengthens family ties and the mutual responsibility of family members for each other. In addition, it also fulfills the function of stabilizing legal relations within the family. According to the Older Persons Act, the Prime Minister is obliged to report annually on the situation of older people to Parliament. These reports, although covering a wide range of information, are nevertheless superficial in nature. They are based on statistical data which are additionally selected in terms of success policies. There is no indication of problems areas, no results of qualitative research, and no thorough assessment of social processes related to the respect of the rights of older people. These reports are written from the perspective of the state bodies responsible for the situation of older people, which necessarily enforces a low level of criticism and, at the same time, a good evaluation of the policies pursued by the evaluators. Many problems are overlooked, and those that are noticed are attempted to be presented as incidental. In view of this, the role of enforcer of older people's rights falls to NGOs, which are supposed to react in situations of violation of older people's rights. However, because such organizations operate autonomously, or rather perceivedly, and because they do not build networks or establish broad agreements for the protection and support of older people, their power of influence is rather weak in practice. Recognizing the need to enhance the protection of the rights of older people, on the 3rd April 2025, the 55th session of the UN Human Rights Council adopted a resolution calling for the commencement of work on a Convention of the Rights of Older People. The resolution formally begins the process of preparing the drafting of the Convention, which will aim to fill gaps in the system of human rights protection for older people. The proposed convention, by collecting and systematizing standards for the protection of the rights of older people, will serve a kind of compass pointing in the direction of necessary legal changes at the national level. One may, of course, ask whether such a convention is needed when there are guarantees in force for the protection of human rights, which, after all, protect every human being and prohibit discrimination against the elderly, even when they do not expressly mention old age as a reason for unequal treatment. However, the dynamic aging of societies poses new challenges, one of which is the prevention of age discrimination. The proposed convention will contribute to embedding the rights of older people in human rights in general, in contrast to the current trend to realize the rights of older people through social rights. The adoption of the convention will contribute to raising public awareness of the rights of older people and will influence the design of public policies, which will have to take into account the interests of older people to a greater extent than before. Of course, it is not enough just to adopt the convention. It is still necessary to set up a system for monitoring, compliance, and effective enforcement of the rights guaranteed therein, which is binding on the state. The issue of protecting the rights of the elderly is a challenge for state bodies upholding human rights and creating social policies in this area. This is all the more important because seniors, due to their age and health, rarely become advocates for their own interests. Rather, they become victims of a non-obvious and often invisible process of marginalization and exclusion from active social life. Meanwhile, in order to ensure effective protection of the rights of older people, it is such people who must be directly involved in the formulation and implementation of measures affecting the legal situation and place in the social space. This is all the more important because the vast majority of citizens are likely to reach old age, so they should take care of their future in advance. They need education on proper relationships with older people and social campaign emphasizing the role of older people in social life and show that old age is a part of human life. We tried to develop certain postulates for such solutions or modifications as part of our work in research group Social Exclusion of Older People, Legal Responses, which was reflected in the reports we prepared. This task was made possible by support and effective cooperation of the Central European Academy, for which I would like one more to express my gratitude to all its staff. Thank you very much one more.